Hello everyone, कैसे हो सब? So let me give you the gist of today's video. So today we'll be covering few of the topics like classes, objects, how much memory these classes and objects take, how you use these classes and objects in Java, right? How JVM stack and heap work when you use these classes and objects, right? And we'll go through nested classing, how to use nested classes, and few of the class hierarchies in Java which are very famous like numbers, characters, strings, big integer, all these kind of wrapper classes hierarchy, and a heck lot of stuff, right? So people who are new to our channel, this video is a part of our ongoing series which you can check in playlist section, and to join us live you can check the link in the description where we come live, solve your doubts, where super peers are there. We have weekly assignments, we'll build projects, and we have a good community of developers to help you out. So without any further ado, let's start today's video. Yeah, last class we had two things in homework, right? The first one was basically integrate your own plugin, any plugin, right? Any third party plugin, and whatever you can find on internet. So first thing was that, right? Second thing was ki basically you have to try to deploy Maven ka, use Maven deploy and deploy your jar file to any repository. There are number of repository that exists on internet, but yeah. And the third one was ki just try to go through assignment one and try to solve some questions, right, without the help of chat GPT. So that was the third thing. So obviously third thing, this one, assignment one, we'll take it tomorrow. There is no gap because I want to cover assignment one. And the second thing that we'll cover tomorrow is ki Maven deploy. So people who have not tried Maven deploy yet, they can try. It is little complex, right? If you are trying to deploy your jar file to some remote repository, it is little bit complex where you have to set up some credentials and some GPG keys and stuff. But I will share the blogs. If you any one of you, right, who has implemented his own plugin, integrated his own plugin, and also he has deployed his jar file, right, pushed to some remote repository. If there is anyone, he can share his ideas ki how he did that. Anyways, we'll do it tomorrow. Okay. Today also we have so many things to discuss, right? So first of all, the plugin that I have tried yesterday only was this one. Okay. And also let me know what plugin you have tried, right? Because there are number of plugins on internet. Cool. So the last lecture homework was ki integrate any plugin, right? The most common plugin that I have found on internet is this from cohort, this execute Maven plugin. This is not exactly for verification, right? This is to run any Java ka, let's suppose you want to run some Java program when you are when you are running Maven verify or Maven package or Maven deploy, right? You want to run your own program to verify things, right, where you have control. So this is one of the plugin that I have found. So if you have found any other plugin also and you have tried, just tell me the name. Okay. So this is the documentation of this plugin. Okay. So you can basically go through the documentation. So I've just give you the gist that this plugin has some goals. Okay. In the last lecture we have discussed ki each plugin has some predefined kind of keywords, right? So this plugin, they have given us the POM configuration, right? The POM configuration that they have given is pretty self-explanatory, that you can go tag by tag and you will understand. This is the group ID. I will even zoom. Okay, this is the group ID that any project, any plugin, any dependencies have, and the version or. And this is the executions. Basically, inside executions tag, you have multiple execution steps, right? So first execution step, it has given, you can give some ID. I will go through the implementation also, but this is the normal syntax that this plugin has, right? So execution step, you can mention as many execution step as you want. So first execution step has some goal. The goal is Java, and the configuration it has given for this goal is this key by run this com.example. Whatever main Java file it has. And if your main Java file, whatever file it is running, if that file accepts some argument, like our main file is app file, right? So if our app file accepts some argument, let's suppose this one, he or she can pass the arguments from pom xml itself, right? So let me delete everything. And yeah, cool. ठीक है, तो आई हैव जस्ट कॉपी पेस्टेड जो भी उन्होंने वहां पे लिखा है, राइट? सो आई हैव जस्ट कॉपी पेस्टेड द प्लगइन. सो द ओनली थिंग दैट आई हैव फाउंड इज कि व्हेन आई वाज पेस्टिंग दिस प्लगइन, whatever the documentation is mentioning this plugin, right? Whenever I was copy pasting this thing inside my plugin management, it was not working, right? And like here in plugin management also you have plugin, right? Here if I'm pasting some plugin out, those were not working. I tried some 2-3 plugins, right? So that's why I figured out ki bhai, if you are basically if you want to use external plugin and you want to run that plugin and override any existing plugin, just define in plugins itself inside build stage, right? Build stage plugins, you can go here, right? Build stage plugins plugin. Okay, then I've just copy pasted group id, version, execution, and every execution have one id that you can give or you can skip, right? So you can give id or face verify, right, which will use maven verify. And the goal here is itself identified here, right? Java. And configuration, it is accepting like which java file you want to run while I am doing maven verify. So I've just made one file verifier, and this file verifier file is nothing but it's just that we have not discussed file IO yet. So mota mota I will tell you that it just that checks key if file1.txt is there, right? It just tries to read one file from this file path, right? src main, and main ke andar you have resources, right? So I don't have any resource here, so it should fail, right? My verification stage should fail. And then I'm checking, I can, so the control is in my hand, right? I can check if the file is not there, right? Just print an error key file1.txt does not exist, and just exit the program and do not continue whatever you are doing, like maven deploy package whatever, right? So that's why here in configuration you can give any file, right? You can give maybe some other file which is confirming key let's suppose your redundant code is there, or let's say people are using too many for loops. You can write your own code. So whenever someone will try to, why I'm not doing that, okay, when someone will try to deploy, this verification stage will run, and your file whatever you have written the code, right, it will run. Okay. And then next thing is class path scope compile. You can just chat gpt it also, but there is one thing which you can check key, what is class path scope in maven plugins. Got it? So the thing is key class path is okay. So basically let me pull out the last class so in last session we have just discussed the maven life cycle, right? This thing. So maven lifecycle has validate, compile, whatever, right? So till this step you have compile, and after let's suppose you are trying to run all over the lifecycle, let's suppose maven package itself, so it will try to run the code also. Okay, so the compile here is just telling it ki bhai whenever you are compiling or whenever you're running code whatever, okay, there you have to run this step every time. Okay, so that's what I got from internet. तो आप भी यहाँ पे you can check. So class, okay, they have taken example of test कि class path scope has test, and the class path scope can be set to different values, compile, test, runtime, to include or exclude specific dependencies based on their scope. So basically if I have dependencies only for test scope, right, I think I have some dependencies for test scope here. So this dependency is only for test scope. So whenever I will run my test cases in future, this dependency will will be available in my JVM, right? So whenever my code is running, this dependency will be available. That can be important only in test scope, right? So what it is saying is that if it is compiled, so whenever this file is running, right, it would have access to the dependencies who has scope other than test, right? So other than test means compile only. ठीक है, तो you don't have to stress too much on this thing, right? You just can put here compile. And this file verifier is nothing but you can put anything here, right? Even you can print your own whatever you want to print patterns, right? So now when you want to verify, so we have already defined the scope verify there. You can check somewhere here, verify we have, right? So you can just go and check ki why this log is being printed, ki fail file 1.txt does not exist and system is exited from there that point of time, right? And let me check where is, okay, test cases are okay, fine. So this is what I tried. Okay, if anyone has tried anything else or koi plugin, you can type, or you can share your screen also and tell people ki what you did. Cool. So basically we'll go through class. It's today's session is around classes, objects, memory padding, etc. So cool. So people have posted repository also. Cool. So in Java, or people who are coming from C++ background, they would have noticed that in C++ also you have public, you have private, right? And you have one keyword called class, right? And I think in C++ there are a couple of other things that we have, like virtual, this stuff, right? So this is the typical code, a very simple class, student class, that I was experimenting around. So basically now you have gone through Maven, okay? So whatever the project you have generated through Maven, it would generate some folders. And let's suppose when you are trying to build any project, it would have a set of packages also. So a project is made up of Java files and packages. Okay? So the first thing is package. So any package you can make. Let's suppose the package is entity. Okay? Now this entity, in this entity, let's suppose you are making any Java class. Okay? Now entity could be database, entity could be student, whatever, car, so student entity if I'll make, then you will see one thing which is package, then your whatever artifact group ID is, right? And then entity. Okay, so this is one of the notation that Java follows, which is a package notation. Okay, why it is there, I'll come to that point, but this is the first thing that every class you will see key at the top it has, right? Okay, cool. So package is just a keyword, okay, which is there just to package. Okay, name is self-explanatory. Key package similar stuff together. So basically in entity, I will put all the entities that I have. Let's suppose student entity is there, or some other entity like let's suppose database, right? Database although is not an entity, user, let's say. Okay. So basically anything which is physical or is first class citizen of my project, I am putting them in my entities. There is no hard and fast rule key what entities should be. It is just purely dependent on your low level diagrams, LLD, whatever you have made, right? So in my entities I can put similar kind of classes, right? Then I can have one more package which would carry some let's suppose clients, right? So clients would have my let's suppose I am targeting some, I am calling, let's suppose, some HTTP client, okay? And that HTTP client is weather API. So weather API will have some weather client, right? So all the clients that are HTTP clients or any client, right? Database client, HTTP client, whatever, will go inside this package. So every class inside this clients folder or package will have this line at top. Cool. So we have student class, and this class is public. Okay, this public, private, protected are mentioned here. Okay, so public, private, and protected. Okay, before that this class keyword is there. I think it's pretty basic. Basically class is just a template which will carry some of the fields, right? It will carry some methods, it will carry some variables, right? What all variables or methods a student can have, right? You can imagine a student can have its name, right? Private name, okay? And name will have one data type, okay? Name could be string, okay? Now name, class, roll number, grade, whatever you can imagine. Okay, cool. So the method it would have is, let's suppose, public method. Why I'm making it public, private, I'll come to that. String, let's suppose, get grade. Okay, so get grade, as of now, let's suppose I am returning it. some random string. Okay, so now all the things which will be related with my student, those things will come inside my student class. So this student class is nothing but a template which will hold मिलती जुलती चीजें inside it, right? So student name has direct relationship with student, right? Name has direct relationship with student, and grades are also related with student itself, right? So all the things which are functions, your variables, whatever you want to make, or even classes, we'll come to that, but even classes, right? If student can have one more class which is school, right? Let's suppose you have one class school and another class is student, right? Can I define one class in another class? That is also a thing, right? We'll come to that, but as of now this is a class keyword, right? This is a package keyword that is reserved for Java compiler, and this is access modifier, public, private, protected. Okay, so it's written there like package is nothing but a folder name. Okay, the analogy that you can drive is basically you create folders, you create folder called music, and what you will put inside music folder? Obviously music itself, right? So that is what in coding itself, in oops oriented programming, basically object oriented programming, it is followed that all the things which are APIs will come inside APIs package, database ke andar database related classes, and utils package ke andar whatever utility classes you have, like extra ka cheezein, right? So the second thing is just a keyword to declare a class or a template. Okay, template that we will use okay, to create objects. Okay, so the next thing is access modifiers. So basically private, public, protected. The thing is everyone knows ki private, public, protected is there, but nobody knows ki why they are exactly present in so many languages, like private, public, protected, why even those are present. Okay, so the thing is ki let's suppose I make this thing as public. Okay, let me remove some extra ka code. So I'll make this class ka name as public. Okay, so sometimes it's a very human error prone ki let's suppose someone wants to access name of the student, right? I have student S, I want to access its name. Okay, someone can do this. Okay, it's language agnostic, any language whatever you are using, if name is public someone can do this, right? But if it is public, so first of all it is exposed to outer world. So public means ki anyone from any package can access this variable. Okay, so first of all, if this variable, name variable, is used by my own methods, let's suppose any public method which is let's suppose get last name. Okay, so get last name will use name itself. By name, my full name is Lovepreet Singh, right? The last name would be Singh. So this last name I am returning, which is in which will be need by other methods which are outside my, let's suppose, weather client, and it wants to print key the weather outside is, let's suppose, 25 degrees Celsius, Lovepreet, right? So my first name, so it only wants my first name. Why would I give my whole functionality to one class and let that class to figure out my first name? ऐसा नहीं कर सकते, right? So we have to provide all the utility methods, and वो methods whatever they are using, the variables and all, they should be private. ठीक है, first of all that is the thing कि भाई if name is only used in your own class and the methods are exposed for other classes to use, then make those variables private. There is no need to expose those variables. First one thing is that those variables are error prone. People can set those variable without using any method. First thing is that, and second thing is it's very common practice. Okay, कि whatever you are using inside class, let it be inside your class only, right? Don't expose it to outer world. Okay, cool. So this is what private is. Now the protected variable is less. It is least in use, at least in my experience. I don't use protected at all. The only thing is protected is basically, again, the name is self-explanatory ki protected, you are protecting this keyword but not up to the level of private keyword, right? Let's suppose this is protected, right? And we have discussed static keyword also. Let me make this class as static, not this class, this method as static. And in user class itself, let me, okay, I have to return something for this method too. be valid. Okay, now in user class, let's suppose student dot name, what I can do, ये होगा string और ठीक है, and what exactly is the one related problem. Okay, unexpected token. Let me make one public, let's suppose void static dummy method. ठीक है, and let's check student, ठीक है, dot name something. ठीक है, now just forget everything ki what I have done. Just one thing that you have to identify here is that I am exposing this name, string outside of my class, which is student class, and in my user class I want to use that name. ठीक है, I want to print that name or I want to set that name. So the thing is ki this user class is also inside my entity package, not identity, entity package. So this student class is also a part of my entity package, and this user class is also a part of my entity package. So whenever you make any field as protected, that will be accessible in your class, first of all. Okay. Second thing is inside your package. So whichever classes are there inside your entity package, those classes can access name variable. Now the use case, what can be the use case here is that weather client. So this is a client which will fetch, let's suppose public, maybe string fetch temperature. Okay. So here it has HTTP API code. Abhi ke liye let's return anything. Okay. Now this fetch temperature, if it wants to use, let's suppose your location, okay, and you have your one more client which is fetch location. So you are using some API to fetch your location. So let's suppose I am using some location API. Okay. So I will create location client. So why I am creating location client inside my clients folder? Because location client is also related to my client package only, which is it is responsible of fetching some some data from internet using HTTP, right? So it is also fetching something, and it can set my location. Let's suppose it has a let's suppose private method or public, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay. And void, okay, and it has one variable which is publicly exposed, है ना, and string location. Okay. Now this method fetch location, don't worry about the details ki bhai how this method will fetch location and all. I am just trying to explain ki whenever this method will fetch something, it can set this location ka variable. Now the problem here is ki whenever you are using this method, okay, some class will call this ki bhai I want to check weather. So weather client will first of all call location client ki bhai first of all give me the location. So instead of weather client to call a location client, I want my location client to fetch my location whenever someone wants and put that location inside my this variable. I will, after fetching the location, okay, what I will do, I will set the location. Whatever I fetch the location from the above step, I'll set the location here. Okay. And now this location I want to expose, but this location I only want to expose to the clients who wants to use my location. I don't want to expose my location to other packages. Okay. The thing is ki other packages, if someone new in my company will come, someone new joinee is coming, in my company, and he is, writing some code, he can change my location, which is not supposed to change outside of my clients. Okay. So that's why I'll make this as protected. Okay. When the location is protected, I don't see any issue if people wants to access it outwards, because it is not accessible at all. Is it clear? Like with use case, don't go into the details ki by how this HTTP, what exactly is HTTP, people who are not aware. But the thing is, we are fetching the location from somewhere and we are setting that location here. And now I want my location to expose to clients only. And these clients are inside this package. So that's why I'll make this location as protected. Okay. Now the third thing is public. Public to anyways is very common, right? Exposed to anyone. Okay. Now the fourth one is this keyword, right? So I was about to use here is this dot location. So the thing is ki this is nothing but ki whenever you are using location client, okay? So location client is first of all is a class, okay? It's not an object. So whenever any class whose method is not static, we have already discussed it, whose method is not static, you can't call that method directly. You have to make an object of that class out of it. Let's suppose in student, right? In any class I want to use my weather API. So what I will do, weather client, okay? Student, so weather client wc whatever, this mechanical keyword. So basically now just control and click on this. So this class I have made an object out of it, right? What is an object, will come to that. But if I want to use this class, I have to give memory to this class first of all, okay? So how I am giving the memory to this class is key, I am using new keyword. I'm telling my compiler, by use this class, allocate some memory for this class, so that the functions or methods whatever I have in this class can be called and they can function, right? Because those are not static. Compiler doesn't know ki bhai, even if you are not calling class, if this method is there, because that method is not static, and this method is strongly linked with this weather client. That's why I have to give memory to this class, which is nothing but allocating memory is nothing but creating an object which is wc. Now I can access wc dot fetch temperature, okay? And inside this fetch temperature, now what I can do is, whenever I am setting up temperature, let's suppose here I have temperature keyword also, okay? As of now, let's suppose it's null. And whenever I am fetching temperature from someone, I will set this temperature using this dot temperature is equals to temperature. So the significance of this is that whenever I am using the class, the weather client class, inside this my student class, I have first of all this object wc. Now someone can create wc1 also in some other place, right? Someone can create that, okay? So wc1 has its own state, wc1 has its own memory, wc1 has its own whatever variable we have. Here we have temperature variable. So every state is associated with your class if that state is not static, okay? So here method is not static, nothing is static, okay? So which means ki bhai, whenever temperature is initialized, it will initialize whenever you are giving memory to this class, okay? So we are giving memory to this class here, and second time here, right? So wc will have its own temperature here, and wc1 will have its own temperature, okay? So whenever wc is tweaking temperature inside this client, that temperature is only being tweaked for wc ka object only, not for wc1. So that's what we meant by this thing, this, okay? So whenever we are using this is nothing but ki bhai, whenever you have one object, okay, use that object ka instance, or use this class ka instance, whatever class you have, use the variable of that class which is temperature, right? And another thing is, let's suppose I have temperature here also, string temperature, multiple temperature I have, right? So here I am setting up, let's suppose this thing. So basically now what I'm saying is you have two things. First of all, you have string temperature here, and you have one more temperature here, okay? Which temperature you think will be set here, ये वाला या ये वाला? Although अपना मतलब इंटेलिजे में आ रहा है कि what is the problem, but ठीक है, block level, right? Because see, the thing is कि in programming our computer doesn't know कि भाई at whatever is at third line, and it can't jump straight to 11th line, okay? It always the thing is, computer is very fast, but computer is very dumb, okay? In this sense, we can scan the whole code in one go, and we don't have to scan in ki bhai first read third line, then seventh line. I can directly open this file, I can directly come to my method, right? But computer it doesn't work like that. It's step by step process, take a line by line thing, instruction by instruction. So that's why whenever you come here, you have one temperature, right? And let's suppose this temperature is not there. Now you are accessing this temperature. It can be made, what is the issue? private is assigned convert field to local variable. No. Okay, ignore that exception. Cool. So whenever I am doing this, so what I am doing is whatever temperature I have till this point, okay, I will set that. But if I have one more field here, right? So this we will say variable temperature is never used, right? So someone said block level. Did you mean that this temperature will get set? This one. Let's see. कौन सा हो रहा है? लोकल वेरिएबल का एक्सेप्शन क्यों आ रहा है? फेच टेम्परेचर. Okay, it's cool. Don't worry, I'm just making the changes so that compilation में कोई error ना आए. And cool. Okay, एक और चीज बची है. We go 26 degrees is not there, but 26 Celsius whatever, right? So you will see that this dot temperature is still being set up. Now if I'll use without this, ठीक है, here let's suppose 35 C. Let's check what will happen. Don't worry why I'm running test cases and all, why I'm running test cases, not the project itself. Don't worry, I'm just trying to tell you that this has different scope, this keyword has different scope, and whatever is local variable has different scope. Okay, you can play around with this, but most of the times in our projects or everywhere you will see I will not use any this keyword, because with time you will know that if one variable ka name exists, you will not use that variable ka name again, right, in same class. So that is a very common practice. So yeah, so that is the thing. I've just explained this keyword because someone in interview can say ki bhai, you have object 1, you have object 2. If you want to access the object 1 ka state, what you will do, you can just say that this keyword is meant for that only, ki bhai whatever object you are on, just use the instance of that object, right? Just use the state of that object. So that is their very common question, but obviously nowadays people will not ask. So this is again now things will get more complicated for beginners. Okay, so the thing is object whatever we have done now is nothing but we have created object. Okay, student s1 is equals to new student whatever we are calling, right? This is nothing but allocating some memory. Okay, so let's suppose you have student s1, student s2. Similarly, like we have maintained now weather client 1, weather client 2, student 1, student 2. Okay, set grade is there. Let's suppose student, you have what is this? Okay, cool. Now we can get grade also. And this is a very common practice that whenever you will declare any variable inside your class, those variable will always be private. So this was the for example, but this variable I have declared grade, this will be private because I will only use my variable inside my class and my methods will use. So I will not expose my variables. Okay, instead I will expose functions so that readability will increase. Okay, set variable, get variable. Okay, get grade, return whatever I have set up, whatever I have set here, grade, I'll just return that. This dot grade or grade, whatever you want to return. Okay, now what it is saying is that now you have created two objects, s1, s2. Okay, now you are setting grade for s1, you are setting grade for s2. So you have two students or two instances, you are setting two grade, right? So the very common question is what will happen when you will do this? This will print A, this will print B, very basic, right? So the thing is how things are getting executed on JVM itself. So in first session we had discussed about JVM, but things got too complicated. So the thing is you have your RAM, okay, your main memory, which is your main raw memory. ठीक है, without any abstraction, without anything. It's just your hardware component, and on top of it you can make whatever software you want to make, right? So JVM is nothing but it's made on top of your RAM, CPU, whatever is there, right? So it's a software, not a hardware, ठीक है. So the thing is कि whenever you are calling your app, so it's nothing but your main method will get called, right? So your main method is static, so because your method is static, so it has no link with your class. So what will happen कि when this method will run, first of all on your stack, so this is your JVM stack and JVM heap, ठीक है. Now the people can ask कि why JVM stack and JVM heap is being used, right? So I'll come to that. So first of all, what will happen when your program will run? So your this main method will get some memory on stack itself. So this is stack which will grow downward and heap will grow upward, or it's JVM specific because it's software level, right? They have the control. So this is the main method ka stack ka frame, ठीक है. Whatever will happen here, कि whatever variable you are declaring or whatever object you are making, all the pointers, all the variables will come in this memory, ठीक है. Now you are creating one student S1. What will happen? This student will get some memory in this heap, ठीक है. How much memory it will get, will come to that. How the memory will allocate it will come to that. But as of now, whenever you are doing new student, it's just saying that ki, okay, first line is this new student, okay, S1, this is a pointer which will point to this location, ठीक है. Although it grows upward, so it will go down. Cool. So S1 will go here. So then S1 will get some memory. Then S2 will come. S2 will get some memory, ठीक है. Now you are calling S1 dot set grade, ठीक है. Now you are calling S1 dot set grade. So set grade is nothing but a function in your student, right? This is a function. So whenever you call a function, right, so this is also a function which will run on stack or heap. Just tell me, this function set grade, this will run on stack or heap. So whatever function you are calling, okay, so there are obviously in Java there are some specific function which will execute on heap, but this will execute on stack. Why? See, heap are, so this heap area, this is meant for objects, okay. Whenever your object is meant to dynamically get allocate memory. So let's suppose your whatever this student is, it's using some array. Let's suppose it's using some array, ठीक है. कहीं पे let's suppose here you have let's suppose student have holidays, कि कितनी उसने holidays ली, right? List of string pardon me because I am like declaring holidays in get grade, but whatever, okay, I'm just trying to explain. So whenever you have holidays ka array inside this one function which is meant to execute on stack, but the thing is this holidays ka list, it needs some dynamic memory ki bhai it doesn't know ki bhai kitni holidays usne li. It can be 5, 10, 20, whatever, ठीक है. So whenever dynamic memory allocation we need, so that will happen on heap. So now this student class, whatever we have, this will go onto heap S1, S2, ठीक है. It will take heap, and if student S1 has some array and you are pushing some elements, तो वो S1 का size बड़ा हो सकता है, right? It can become big. So that's the thing. But here in our case, we are just calling a simple method which is nothing but printing out something, right? So it's nothing but S1 dot get grade will get pushed on your whatever stack is. So stack में क्या होता है? So basically first in first out, ठीक है. तो सबसे पहले your main method got pushed here, then your S1 got created, then your S2 got created, then S1 dot set grade is called, right? S1 dot set grade, ठीक है. Now you will say कि भाई S1 is pointer, but the actual memory is in heap. This is stack, this is heap, ठीक है. How you are able to call a method in stack itself? That's what pointer is, na? That's what S1 is nothing but we are calling stuff from here itself. But उस जो whatever we are calling उसको memory किस में मिल रही है? Stack में, ठीक है. So first of all, let me run step by step. ठीक है. So first in first out, let's suppose कैसे करें ऊपर से. या यहाँ से, ओके यहाँ से करते हैं। सो यहाँ से हम पुश करते हैं, ठीक है, यहीं से विल पॉप, ठीक है। सो मेन मेथड के अंदर योर S1 वेंट फर्स्ट, इट हैज सम मेमोरी ऑन हीप, फॉरगेट दैट S2, देन S1 डॉट गेट ग्रेड, सेट ग्रेड, सॉरी सेट ग्रेड, ठीक है। देन इट विल सेट, इट विल रन इट्स एग्जीक्यूशन, इट विल कंप्लीट इट्स एग्जीक्यूशन, तो इसको हम करेंगे पॉप कर देंगे। उसके बाद S2 डॉट सेट ग्रेड, नाउ दिस मेथड विल कॉल, ठीक है, वट एवर एग्जीक्यूशन विल हैपन, यहाँ पे वो अपना एग्जीक्यूशन करेगा, या रेफरेंस वेरिएबल इन स्टैक, सो दैट्स व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, एनीथिंग एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम रेफरेंस, ठीक है। सो S2 डॉट सेट ग्रेड, ये अपनी एग्जीक्यूशन करेगा, इट विल एग्जिट। सो देन प्रिंट एलन, यू हैव टू मोर फंक्शन, प्रिंट एलन, ठीक है, इट विल प्रिंट pop, then next print ln, it will print pop, but there is one catch. So here you can just read ki main stack, sabse pehle main frame will push to stack, S1 S2 pointers will get created, set grade, okay set grade, हाँ set grade calls method and pushed on top of main frame, ठीक है, and then get grade is called and pushed to main frame, मतलब whatever is going on in stack after heap allocation. But the thing is, now your main program exited after this println to println function, everything is popped out, S1 S2 everything is done, but this memory is still there, this memory in heap is still there, ठीक है। So in heap, so in stack, whenever your function gets out of scope, so now your main function execution is done, whatever we have allocated memory, like for whatever function, it will it will flush its memory, ठीक है, whatever return address of function memory, whatever it had, it will flush its memory. But the thing is, JVM heap S1 and S2 will still have some memory allocated and it will not go away magically. The thing is, that's why, yeah, heap just provides memory, obviously, like even in stack it doesn't execute, it just provide memory. Okay, so S1 and S2 memory is still there, that's why virtual machines exists. Okay, so S1 and S2 is there, but luckily this is not a hardware memory, this is a software wrapper of our RAM. So if you'll go on internet, let me share one video I have shared on Twitter also today. After this session, don't sleep, ye video 2x pe or 1.5x pe you should watch, I think JVM anatomy, or yeah, JVM anatomy. Let me send this. Okay, although I highly recommend that don't get overwhelmed from this video, just take out जो आपको समझ आए, just take that out and sleep. Basically we have S1 and S2, but luckily we are in our software memory, not in hardware memory. So अगर हम RAM पे होते, so RAM पे, just to give you a gist, you have two things, one is malloc, actually three things, malloc, ठीक है, realloc, calloc, and although there is one more thing free, which is a wrapper. Okay, so majorly we have three things which are nothing but system calls, okay, these are three system calls that can directly go in kernel and access your hardware. But luckily we have JVM, so these calls are internally done by JVM itself, and we don't care about everything ki bhai, whatever we have allocated on heap, it will get automatically flushed, and this whatever flush or reset of memory will happen, it will happen through another program, garbage collector, and even the garbage collector will run in its own thread, we'll come to that. But for the time being, just notice that S1 and S2 are two objects which will get flushed automatically. So that is the one key thing of Java, or even JavaScript. People who have worked in JavaScript, they might have known ki what exactly garbage collector is, though I'm not sure in JavaScript how do they do, but yeah, cool. Then S out is nothing but println whatever, and it's on stream, right, output stream. Cool. How to go next? Yeah. Okay, so new keyword, so I've already discussed but one more question arises, that most of the people, I mean, don't go in detail. The thing is that so here there are two pointers ki take class as a template. Class is nothing but a template which doesn't have its own memory, okay, it just have its own variables, methods, but memory only happens when you use new keyword, okay, and an instance of class is called object, okay. So, and the second thing is ki whenever you create an object, its pointer is stored on the stack. So people who are coming from C++ background, they would have known that if I've created in C++, I've created pointer, it would look like something like this, okay. So in C++, the thing is syntax is hard, but when we'll make our own project, okay, our first project, there I will show you ki even in Java itself, when we will use debug mode, I think in next week only we will use debugger. When you will use debugger, you will be able to see ki bhai, this is nothing but in Java, this is nothing but, let's remove pointer, this is nothing but a pointer itself to one address, which is heap address. Okay. The thing is, JVM and all these things gets, you know, in the picture, and all of the stuff is abstracted out. Okay. So the question here is, how much approx memory does it will take on new student? Let's suppose this is the class that you are using. Kitna memory lega ye class? Can you tell me when you will use new student, how much memory it will take on heap? You can argue why is it important, right? You can also ask, why is it important to know that how much memory it will take? Any guess you can like basically take here. Let's suppose ये string memory लेगा. Let's suppose 1 2 3 4 5 and एक new character 6 and into, let's suppose 6 byte लेगा. Let's suppose इसको कुछ भी मान लो. What memory these functions will take approximately? Maybe sum of all variables. Maybe sum of all variables. एक variable है, we have only one variable, right? Okay, let's length of data type. Yeah, that is to there anyways, and we'll execute, we'll have two functions. So in Java it's different. Okay, agar mere paas C++ hai, let's suppose I have C language only, and I have struct instead of class, I have struct student. Okay, and inside student I have one string name, or let's suppose character name. Okay, character pointer name. And second thing is, let's suppose character pointer grade. Okay. So in C++, what happens is, let's suppose I am using my modern machine only. Purana wala computer I am not using. So what will happen is ki 64-bit mein, what will happen ki name, so any pointer in C++ I think is 4 bytes equivalent to integer, but just confirm on internet if I'm correct or not. So this pointer and this pointer, they will directly plus this 4 plus 4 and some padding. Okay. Why even padding is there, I'll come to that, but something is there, right? So directly you can plus the variables whatever are there. But in Java, as you know, that this code will not run on directly your whatever machine is. Okay. It has to get compiled to bytes code. Okay. It has to code compile to byte code, and then it will run on Java ka stack first. Java JVM ka stack and heap. Okay. And which is itself is a wrapper on top of RAM. So whatever memory allocation, deallocation is happening in this stack is also happening on this thing, right? But the native stack hardly comes into the picture because most of the things are handled by JVM itself. So the memory allocation in JVM stack and heap is different than other, you know, whatever programming languages we use. So this is a rough estimate. Okay. So the thing is in Java, all the non-primitive types go to heap. Okay. So that is what I was telling you, that this string grade whatever is there. So because of this string data type, okay, this string data type, this is a non-primitive data type. Non-primitive matlab we have primitive data types, which is small integer, small character, small boolean, okay, and small byte, small double, small float. Okay, which has raw memory of, let's suppose 4 byte, 1 byte. I think this is 1 byte. Ye to hai 1 byte. Double, I think 4 is 4 byte and 8 byte, I think double. Okay. So whatever is there, these data types have raw memory. Ki bhai whenever you will use this data type, it will get directly 4 bytes itself without any, you know, interruption. But the thing is, when wrapper classes comes, this string, this is not a primitive data type. This is not a data type which are you know, hardware memory allocation is there for this data type. It's not there, right? So the thing is, this is a wrapper class. It's wrapped on top of character class. Okay. If I have character, 3 character, let's suppose C, A, R, and I can combine these 3 characters, it will become a string car. Okay. But the thing is, inside under the hood, this is nothing but string is a array of character or a combination of character. Okay. C, A, and R. In तीनों के लिए अलग-अलग memory है. So the thing is, कि string it doesn't know कि how much length it will get in future. So जहां पे भी unpredictability will come, it will go to heap. And the another thing is कि in heap we have special type of memory for string. We have string pool. ठीक है? We'll even solve one DSA question soon where your solution will fail if you will not use this string pool. ठीक है? We'll come to that. So but the thing is in Java you have something called string pool, which is specifically there for strings itself. String pool in Java. ठीक है, string pool is a Java special memory where JVM, जो भी हमारा JVM है, stores string जो भी आप करते हो to optimize memory usage and improve performance. This pool is called string intern pool. ठीक है, although we'll come to this string intern pool, and even we will solve one DSA question that will, all the test cases, like few of the test cases will fail if you will not use string. But the thing is कि in interviews whenever you are giving interview in Java, ठीक है, या फिर just resume skimming, someone will say कि भाई let's suppose garbage collector तो anyways people will ask, okay. Second thing is कि string constant pool, it's very underestimated topic, क्योंकि people just think कि भाई string is nothing but a character का combination and that's it. First thing, it has special memory on Java heap, and second thing is it has something called string pool. ठीक है, what is the use of string pool is कि let's suppose in one function I have declared string, let's suppose name is equals to Lovepreet, ठीक है, whatever, and again in that function I have declared string name1. Name1 is equal to Lovepreet. Let me go to here. Okay, spelling देख लेना. Sort equal कहाँ है? ठीक है, सो वैसे तो ये नेम ऑब्जेक्ट्स क्लास यूज कर सकते हैं. Your string values here you can see name is equal to name1. जब भी हम कर रहे हैं it is printing false. Only one value I want to print, false. ठीक है, because it's comparing directly कि भाई whatever your value is, so the value is obviously different, but the thing is कि जहां पे वो save है, जो object memory में save है, जो memory है वो same है, इसलिए whenever we are doing assert equal it is checking out the object का instance. ठीक है, so I think I should not explain, but the thing is कि when we will go in detail of these functions अंदर के अंदर, so you will come to know कि assert equal, as of now I will explain कि assert equal is nothing but comparing the objects, and this name and name1 is nothing but comparing the values. ठीक है, though the values is value, it is saying that it can be different, which is printing false, but the object where it is stored is same, which is कि this are string का pool. So जो भी string हम store कर रहे हैं, two pointers are there. ठीक है, one is name, one is name1, but both are stored at the one single place. ठीक है, so you can read more about this keyword string interning on heap. ठीक है, so this is one of the cool topic in Java, जो कि you will find entire video. Okay, so at the very first when we started this session, I have just explained like a little bit of classes inside classes, although it's a very bad practice. ठीक है, don't do it, but the only thing for the sake of explanation, I want to explain कि let's suppose you have one class, you have one class school. ठीक है, and inside this class you want to make one more class which is student. I just want to explain you the memory allocation ki how you will call student class inside school class. So let's suppose name, I am hard coding it as of now. ठीक है, now let's suppose you want to use this school class and then student class, and then you want to access the name. How you will do it? So एक क्लास को एक्सेस करने का तो सिंपल है कि भाई न्यू क्लास, जो भी क्लास का नाम है, क्लास नेम, this you can use. So it will give you an object of that class specifically from some memory. ठीक है, but now inside that object we have one more class. Can someone guess ki how you can basically allocate memory out of an object ka memory? So this is an object first you will declare, and then you will allocate one more memory inside this student whatever class. Okay, someone asked ki if I will change name 1, name 2, and Nalin said that strings are immutable and you can't change on runtime while building. I think when the bytecode conversion happens, at that time it will just point name 1 to other value you created. Yes, the pointers are same, but if it will change or not, that we have to check. Oh, the question is ki bhai, basically you have one class, okay, school class, so which is a template, and inside school you have some students. So instead of representing student outside of this school class, you have represented student ki bhai, this student is associated with the school class. But now the thing is ki you want to access or you want to allocate some memory to student class. How you will do it? Earlier to we just said that new school you will do. So this school will get some memory in your heap and pointer. Now you want to allocate memory using an object. Earlier we were just using a class, which is new school. Now you want to do something like this. I'm not sure if it is possible, but that you have to answer, right? Something like this. Okay. So although this is a very bad practice, but sometime we'll use this kind of pattern where you have one basically class, and inside that class you want to package some more methods, but those methods are more specific to the another class, which is like, let's suppose here student. School can't have grades, right? Student can have grades. So basically that's why the get grade set grade will go inside student class, and student class is directly or strongly linked with school class itself. So I can do this. Okay. So how you can basically use this thing is, so I think students, first of all you have not students, school. Okay, let me delete this student class, because inside school we have one student class, one related problem, which is this. That's why I will comment this. Okay, now you have school class, inside you have student class, and I'm getting inner class maybe static. Yeah, ignore that. Okay, so school s is equals to new school. So what I'm doing here is I'm just allocating some memory to my school. Okay, but can I access my student class here? नहीं कर सकते access. क्यों? Because here you are trying to access student class directly without using any object. That's why I am getting an advice there ki bhai, make this student class as static class, because if you remember our first session, if you make a class as static class, right, this class has no link with the student class. Now this class is not linked with school class. Okay, student class is not linked with school class. But if it is a normal class, so though this memory allocation will depend if school itself has some memory in heap or not. Okay, so that's why I am saying ki bhai, this you can't do. So let's see how you can do it. So basically it's straightforward. So I think s dot new dot student, or I think s dot new, sorry, student, and okay, and this will give me student class, school dot student s1, and s1 dot if I want to access any method, let's suppose I don't have any method, so let's use some name although I have just made it static so that I don't have to declare one method. Okay, okay, how to go here? Okay, so now I am able to access one variable, although you should not do this. Okay, jab bhi aisa karna hai, you want to access one variable, what you have to do here is you have to create one method, public string get name, okay, and return from this function whatever you want to return, and then access that thing whatever you want to access. Okay, s1 dot get name. But the thing is here what I'm doing here is first of all I am creating one school. Okay, now school, inside school what we have is we have nothing here, right? We just have one more class. So again, this class allocation, memory allocation of this class will not exactly do memory allocation of student class automatically. You have to specify for that also, which is you have to access this thing s.new. Okay. Now on the student class ka instance, you have school class. You have school class. On that school class instance, you are using new keyword. You are using new keyword कि भाई s school है मेरा, उसमें से मेरे को न्यू कीवर्ड यूज करना है उस इंस्टेंस के अंदर से. आई वांट टू एलोकेट सम मेमोरी फॉर स्टूडेंट क्लास. ठीक है. इट्स हार्ड टू रीड बट इट इज व्हाट इट इज, राइट? ऐसे ही करना पड़ता है इफ यू वांट टू डू नेस्टेड क्लासिंग. ठीक है. सो why we do that? So basically you want to encapsulate similar logic कि भाई school is highly linked with a student or vice versa. You will just put two classes inside, you know, you will do nesting. And the another thing is more readable. So basically if you want to write some database, right? So if you have database class here, and if you want to write MySQL database inside a generic class, you can do that, right? We have something called inheritance. We'll come to that. But as of now, if you want to couple multiple logics in one class, you can make multiple classes inside another class, right? It's just that you just have to notice this syntax ki bhai, whenever you want to allocate memory, you have to allocate memory on top of your instance of the class s.new, not just new. ठीक है. New तो भाई is just that कि भाई allocate memory on random whatever heap location. But here what I'm saying कि भाई use your object and then allocate memory out of that object. ठीक है. So it's more readable. But anyways, we have more methods of, you know, like inheritance and all of readability. So I am touching few more topics. Why? Because in next session we'll come to, like in few next session we'll come to object oriented programming. And before that I just want to give you a gist of ki how in Java, like overall upar say how it looks. ठीक है. So basically here again you will get one definition ki an instance of a class which is essentially using a template to create a stateful object. ठीक है. Just fancy definition. So object 1 and object 2 will have same field functions but will operate in different memory, है ना? तो basically अगर आपने दो object बनाए, they will operate in different memory but have same template which is class. So this is just a pointer for the people who will ask कि भाई why you're not explaining inheritance and all the patterns and all. ठीक है. So in Java we have most important class, first of all, is object class. Everything whatever you will see in Java apart from your primitive data types will come from somewhere or other from object type, object class. ठीक है. So the first wrapper class hierarchy that I have just want to explain you is कि we as of now we have just used string, though it is not there, but we have character class here. So we have string class also. ठीक है. We have character class. So all these classes are wrapper classes. Wrapper means it are also these are wrapped on top of your primitive data types. मतलब दो तीन चीजों को मिक्स करके क्लास बनाई हुई है, राइट? सो आई कैन मिक्स कैरेक्टर्स टू मेक स्ट्रिंग, राइट? आई कैन मिक्स सम मोर फंक्शनैलिटी की लेट्स सपोज यू हैव इंटीजर. ठीक है. आई कैन मेक अ क्लास ऑफ इंटीजर एंड मेक इट लेट्स सपोज एल इंटीजर, एल इंट. ठीक है. रैपर क्लास बना सकता हूँ. इट हैज वन मेथड टू चेक गेट ओवरफ्लो 4 बिट. ठीक है. तो लेट्स सपोज मैं एक ऐसा मेथड बनाता हूं जो मेरे को बताता है कि भाई अगर आपका इंटीजर जो भी है क्या वो ओवरफ्लो हो सकता है फ्यूचर में. ठीक है. ऐसा कोई मैं मेथड बनाता हूं लेट्स सपोज. तो वो मेथड कांट linked with your primitive data type. This is a raw memory ki bhai I will get 4 byte of memory, that's it. I don't know anything else. Whatever methods you want to put on top of these primitive types will go in wrapper classes. ठीक है. So that's what people who wrote Java did कि basically they made one class object. ठीक है. It has all the methods like get class, right? And it has wait. We'll come to multithread and then you will see कि भाई there are a lot more methods की notify all, wait, a hell lot of methods, right? So all these methods will be used in other classes also. These are the boilerplate methods ki whatever object has other classes, whoever are extending those object class will have those methods, right? But the thing is you can put your own methods. That's why wrapper classes are made, hai na? So then a very famous collection framework is there. People who are coming from C++, they must have known that STL library we have defined definitions of map, list, set, unordered map. All these things exist there in STL, and you can directly import and use. So that's exactly what collection framework is. when we will start DSA, this collection framework only will heavily use, क्योंकि we have vector and you can check you have stack here and you have queue. All these data structure are defined there, and you can directly use them. Though they will also come from one class, which is object class, है ना? Okay, so our first project will be logging system. ठीक है? In that logging system, we have to use IO, and we'll use all the things that we have discussed till now. But IO is most important topic that you can write thousands of blogs on just streams. Okay, though there are 2 or 3 main streams, which is input stream, output stream, those are also coming from one common class, which is object class. Okay, so this stream, input stream and output stream, and then out of input stream, output stream, there are lot of other streams like file input stream, byte array input stream, filter input stream, object stream, buffer stream, and all these streams are there. But the thing is, you can write tens of 20s of blog on just ये 3-4 streams के ऊपर ही, because अगर आप उसके अंदर जाओगे, you will notice a lot of things. भाई lock लगा रखे हैं, right? lock लगा रखा है streams के ऊपर. You would notice कि भाई they have used they are very readable also. Okay, input stream को I'll just quickly take 10 minutes for the people who are curious. ठीक है? Anyways, we'll come on these topics in our we'll come on these topics in our IO session. ठीक है? And we'll come to this hierarchy in our object oriented session. But I'm just touching those things because I just want you to explore if you want to. So input, let's suppose here buffered input stream. Let's take more buffered input stream. Okay, and control click. Okay, let's suppose I am a newbie, right? I don't know anything about inheritance or anything. I just know 2 things, which is कि भाई variable क्या होते हैं, function क्या होते हैं, and third thing also I know कि how to go inside the classes, control and click. ठीक है? Those are the 3 things that I know. Now what you have to do is try to interpret these methods कि हो क्या रहा है. Let's see, default buffer size, try to read. Buffer input stream adds functionality to other input stream, ability to buffer the stream, support mark reset. If you are a new person, you might not be able to understand, but that's completely okay, क्योंकि you just have to skim the code. ठीक है? Just go through it. Now you will not find कि भाई what is the use of this. जितना समझ आता है उतना समझो. Get inside again. ठीक है? Filter input stream के अंदर जाते हैं. Let's suppose filter input stream के अंदर जाते हैं. ठीक है? Now let's see. Read method is there. What exactly it is doing? Read this. ठीक है? If you are not able to understand whatever is written, go inside. ठीक है? Now this is the I think system call होगा अंदर. Yeah, this is abstract interface. Okay, cool. So that is your second homework of today's session, which is try to read buffer input stream, and if you can post in Discord, just post कि भाई कितना समझ आया है, right? Try to use ChatGPT, try to use whatever you want to use, but just try to interpret whatever you know as of now. ठीक है? You don't know inheritance, you don't know कि भाई what this throws exception is, you don't know everything. You just have to go inside the class, you just have to skim the class कि भाई class क्या कर रही है. Just try to make an intuition and write 1-2 पैरा में कि क्या आपको समझ आता है कि ये buffer input stream what exactly it is doing. Okay, so yeah, input stream. Okay, yeah, so tomorrow what I will do is कि first of all, first priority thing is try to solve assignment 1. ठीक है? Assignment 1 तो priority है. उसके बाद जितना भी we have discussed you can skip because if you don't have time, but just try to solve assignment 1. If you have solved assignment 1, then come to this thing, try to interpret and write in Discord ki what you have understood, and we will discuss different people ki opinion ki bhai what you have understood out of this input stream. ठीक है? And one more thing, which is Maven deploy. I will check if we have time tomorrow, and we'll use that time to explain that also. But the own priority we'll have discuss this assignment 1 and our next session ka topic, which is I think wrapper classes and class oriented programming.